Good morning, afternoon, or evening. It's your painter in residence, I'm Francis McCarthy. Oh no. We know I need my brush. Easel Talk 19, my friends. And this is based on a chapter from my upcoming book. The name of the chapter is Generalized Subjects. I'm going to come up with a better title for this video. Painting subjects, I think, is probably what I'm going to do. Finding the extraordinary in the ordinary. Welcome, the power of the intimate. Today we're exploring one of the most liberating aspects of tonalist painting, generalized subjects. This is something that attracted me to tonalism right from the start. After I decided to begin doing landscape paintings, I took I had a little power shot. Loved it. Beautiful little camera. Took my camera out and started photographing my local area. I used to ride my bike to work every day back then, and we went to this area called the percolation ponds, that were areas where they would store water and then drain them out for the local farmers there. I don't even know how many farmers there were by the time I was there. It was full on Silicon Valley, but whatever. Here was a revelation. When I started making paintings from these photos, there was one painting I made, and it was just like a clump of, it wasn't a clump of weeds. That's my assistant here. It was just a clump of nothing. Actually, I guess trees, when they're very small, look like weeds. It was just a clump of nothing, but that became something great in the painting. And then that's what I got thinking, well, you can make anything into anything when you're doing paintings. And this is kind of where I'm headed here. You don't need to have something amazing in your photo. What you need to have is a sort of a mindset that is bringing aesthetics and creativity to the scene, okay? From grandiose to the intimate. That is our focus today. Oh, before I forget, Ko-Fi. You appreciate Mike? You want to help me out? There's a thing. I think it's going to pop up there. Click on it. Buy me a cup of coffee. I'm going to work on this cup of coffee while I'm waiting for you to buy me one. It's becoming important to support things you like on YouTube. If you haven't noticed, it's turning into a giant corporate supermarket. God bless them. Okay. We're going to explore the historical shift from the Hudson River School's grand vistas to tonalism's more intimate scenes. And really more so the mindset. This won't be a short talk, by the way. I can see I've got a lot of stuff here. Probably could almost be 2 parts, but I'm going to try and get it all done. I'm going to hurry up, okay? Just be patient. And, there's a thing called pause. There's a thing called, whatever. You can do what you want. Yeah. I'll show you how generalized subjects offer both artistic freedom and technical advantages over, the big grandiose scene. More importantly, we'll discuss how painting ordinary scenes can create extraordinary emotional connections, and that's what I'm all about. I think that the main purpose of painting is to connect with people. You're a unique individual that has a unique experience of reality, and if you work on cultivating that and creating paintings and pursuing mastery as a form of expression, it's worthwhile. It's something that I think a lot of people are going to become more interested in as we trundle on down the lane. Yes, the main message. You don't need the epic subjects, the field behind your house, the cluster of trees you pass every day on your walk. These ordinary scenes are gold mines of painterly possibility when approached with the right mindset. When you paint generalized subjects, you're inviting viewers to bring their own experiences to the painting. This is good stuff. Main sections. The first one, number 1. The historical shift from grandiose to intimate. The Hudson River School. So maybe you don't know what's the Hudson River School. We'll type it into the Googles there. But prior to tonalism, there was a movement in American art, I want to say early 1800s to around 1860, 70. It probably kept on going for a while. You had one of the greatest purveyors of that school, Thomas Moran. He actually transcends the Hudson River School, but he was, in many ways, he epitomized it in that you had these paintings that were, as big as this wall behind me, of these beautiful, usually American vistas, but like Thomas Moran, he went down to South America. You got glowing mountains, you got glowing skies, you got thunder clouds, you got giant lakes with little deer in them. Over in one area, you got a little bunch of people by a campfire. It was, awe-inspiring. And as a matter of fact, they would at some points charge people to go look at these. They have a big tent with that painting in it. And if you think about, well, that sounds crazy. Why would I pay to look at a painting? Well, there ain't nothing else going on. Ain't certainly nothing else going on in color. You had black and white etchings in your Bible, or maybe some black and white magazines or newspapers, and everything else was like something like this. Okay, so the Hudson River guys, they were very inspired by the American landscape, and they were they had a definite connection to God and stuff too. They were trying to get that feeling of awe and spirituality across in the work, and they definitely did a pretty good job of that. Yes, moving on. Okay. Yeah. While the reaction was favorable, in fact, this was the very first, 100% American art movement, and but something going on, chip away at it, and that was the Barbizon School and the influence thereof, and that was people like George Ines coming in with that. Another guy whose name I can't recall right now, but several artists. They all had gone over to France. They were seeing the work of Camille Corot. They'd seen the work even of Constable, which was very different, And it was influencing them. That French, especially that Barbizon movement, was influencing them. The Constable's kind of off in his own track, We're not talking about him today. But that European influence coming in on the American art, it was not considered to be a good thing. It was American art for Americans. This is our art movement, etc. But the innovations of the Barbizon were phenomenal. And they totally influenced tonalism, which is sometimes called the American Barbizon, right? And what was that? Well, we'll get into that. We'll get into that assistant. Just a more reflective sense, more looser brushwork that was more expressive, less detail, less foreground detail. A lot of these things came in. Okay, we'll talk about that some more as we go. The cultural turning point, sometime after the Civil War and the onset of the Industrial Revolution, there arose in American artists, just kind of this desire to go back to the farm, back to the rural landscape of their youth, and there was a real hankering for that because, as much as we're in shock with all this digital crap coming on and all the AIs and stuff, you think about those ancestors of ours in the 1800s. What a shock to go from the farm to the city and work in a factory and that kind of thing. So maybe a bigger shock. I don't know. It's not that kind of channel, though. We're going to keep it focused on painting. All right. Yeah, so it's more psychological. As much as the Hudson River guys were trying to inspire awe and a feeling of reverence and spirituality, triggered by these amazing landscapes. You just go, oh wow, it's so amazing. The tonalist thing is way more intimate and way more generalized. You don't need a giant vista. You could just have a tree with a field, and all of the emotion and all of the cool stuff that's coming in is from the composition and the tonalist levers that you're pulling. And hopefully I can give you some insight into doing that. We've been doing it on my channel for a long time. Not always winning, but we win. Sometimes we win. You like that light change. Sun's coming out, clouds. Mostly it's gray though, so don't get excited. Okay. What tonalism looks like. Most tonalist paintings contain a few trees in a field, maybe a pond or a stream, and often feature large expressive skies, right? This use of expansive, interesting and colored skies is a quality that tonalism shares with the Luminists, also called the Hudson River School. Great name for an art movement, the Luminists. Someone should grab that again, I think. I'm a Luminist. The key difference, when you paint that simple local scene, it's more relatable to people. It's more accessible. It doesn't inspire a feeling of, oh my God, you know. And the other thing I would point out, I'm sure I'll get into it again here later too, but this whole scan and pan thing, you know, that was, you had detail from the front to the back in these giant canvases, and so you would very much look at them the way you would look at nature itself, you know, a little bit here, a little bit there, a little bit there, you know. Whereas tonalism, even if it's a big canvas, is designed to basically go in all at once. That's a topic for another talk. But in a sense, not really, because having something that's more generalized, that the scene is relatable. Sorry for the sniffle. There's pollen going on around here. You probably hear a couple of those going on. Yes, key difference. When you paint that simple local scene, it's more relatable to people, and it's not a broad vista. I've gotten to a few vistas doing the coastal thing out here, which isn't really that tonal. I try and bring a tonal sensibility to it, but you know, the whole vista thing is not very tonal. Yeah, this allows the viewer to reflect more on the other aspects of the landscape, like the atmosphere, the shadows, and the overall color. So the trade-off: less detail, more feeling. Right? Less detail, less rendering, less of a specific place, and more feeling. Along with the sublimation, so there was a shift in subject matter, right, as we've been talking about. Along with the sublimation of detail, this focus on intimate, generalized subjects is really the main difference between these two schools. All right, we're going to move on. There's got a bunch of other stuff here. Before I move on, though, what are we at? Well, we're hitting 11, 12 minutes. We're doing okay. I'm trying to move through this. Quite a few pages. It's my book. It's my book. Do you have a copy? Many of you do. If you don't, you probably want it. It's a good book. This is touched on in there. So many things are touched on in there. I'm working on another book too, but it won't replace this book. This book is the book, the how-to, tonalist painting. I'll ship it to you. Links below. Maybe a link even popping up there. You can just click on that, because I'm doing that now. Okay. 2. Finding the extraordinary in the ordinary. Core concept, the tonalist lens. We're looking through a lens right now. That's doing a pretty good job of focusing. How do we find the extraordinary in the ordinary? That might be something you're wondering. Well, yeah, Mike, great. Well, let's see if we can break it down. A lot of it is your mindset, your attitude. Okay, instead of saying I need to paint something that's magnificent, just look at the underlying structure. Is it sound? And then you bring in your emotive response to the scene. And a lot of times what I'm doing is I'm using the digital methods and means to put it into the reference image, right? Not the subject of this talk. But they didn't have that. What they had was sketches, their memory, which is very powerful indeed. I'm reminded of this movie. Maybe you've seen it on Turner, right? Not a huge fan of Turner, but I really like that movie. I think it's called Turner. And it shows a scene of him, you know, basically looking at this beautiful morning dawn scene. It's all yellows and golds and things like that. And he's making mental notes, right? And as humans, we have the capacity to do that. It's kind of it's stunted and atrophied because we have our phones now. So in your case, you might just, if you see a scene that's making you feel something emotive, you know, pull out the phone and take a little picture of it. And what you'll notice is that the phone has a tendency to just put it all in a box. And a lot of times you go, well, that's not awe-inspiring, you know. That's what cameras do. That's what phones do. And that's one of the reasons why it's just one part of the process. Okay. Everyday shapes and forms can be painted through a veil of mystery. And then we're going to talk about a little bit of philosophy here, okay? So, Ines, the greatest purveyor of tonalism, I feel safe saying that. And we have John Francis Murphy on his heels, and Charles Warden Eden, who kind of fell apart, but Ines carried the day. And there's that mystery there. And the thing is that he was a follower of a guy named Swedenborg. I'm not going to go off into that whole tributary, but one of Swedenborg's foundational concepts was that there was a reality behind our reality, a reality of poetic significance, right? And you can sensitize yourself to this, and this is what you can choose to paint if you want to. Now, I'm not saying that you're going to you wake up, make a decision, yeah, I'm painting a poetic reality behind reality today, and it's going to be like that. But it's a process, and you can get there. I've got there. And in fact, this was my whole struggle. When I first came across tonalism, nobody was teaching it. I'm doing my best to try and impart the means and ways. I would have loved it if Ines could have recorded some talks like this. That would have been super. You're looking for the evocative. You're looking for something that's in the shadows, really. You look for it and you will find it. One good thing I think is good to look at is look up pictorialism if you haven't. I've made quite a few paintings after pictorialist photos. That was a movement in photography that was running in the early 20th century, and it was a very evocative, painterly approach to photography, and it's like the twin of the tonalism in many ways, in that it captured this evocative, mysterious sort of feeling. So you can, and you know what, make a few studies after an essay. There's a playlist. I don't know if I'll put cards up for that, but maybe, I don't know. Okay. Power suggestion. This is incredibly powerful because it allows the viewer's imagination to fill in the blanks. That's what you want to do. Where the Hudson River guys are like, no, I'm going to paint every leaf on that tree, and then I'm going to paint every edge on that rock, and every ripple in the stream, and every different little bump on the cloud. And isn't that amazing? That's not the tonalist way. The tonalist way is to imply and to evoke. That's the tonalist way. Yeah, we've been talking about this stuff a lot in this series, and we're going to keep talking. Because that's what Uncle Mike does. He paints, and he talks. Okay. When you paint a more generalized type of subject, like just some trees, path, pond, you're inviting the viewers to bring their own experiences into the painting, right? That copse of trees that scene might remind them of their childhood, or just a feeling reminds them of a state that they've experienced before. That's powerful. That's what attracts me to tonalism. Yeah. Familiarity breeds mystery. Wow. Okay. Oftentimes, familiarity with the scene that's repeatedly painted can reveal ever greater levels of implied mystery. This is true. Look at my channel. In fact, one day, it would be very interesting for me to put together a video where I showed all the different iterations of some reference that I painted. Sometimes I've revisited scenes 6, 7, 8 times, and everyone's different, and the mystery, the evocative quality is always something I'm going for. Yeah. Yes, with each iteration, familiar forms become increasingly abstracted and evocative. I love a strand of trees with a path. I do. Come on. Yeah, I could paint this sort of scene 1,000 times over. I don't get tired of it. And there are nearly infinite ways to vary the different forms. And you don't even have to try, because you're going to be different every time you come to the easel. Subject of another talk. Yeah. Personal preference. Oh, Ko-Fi. Help me out. Buy me some coffee. I'll have some of this one while I wait. There's a link below this video for a book about how to paint tonalist landscapes. Go to my site
and order one now. I'll ship it to you. Then you'll know how to paint tonalist landscapes.
Okay. Personal preference and market reality. While there's nothing at all wrong with rendering expansive vistas, I personally have never been that attracted to it. Even when I've done a few coastals here and there, I try and hook in on just a specific headland, right? Yeah, I can't escape the intimate, and we can see where's this one. If I move my head, that's a good idea. That's like a really nice beach out here. That's called Ocean Beach. I think it's on the channel right now, maybe. Okay. As a matter of fact, I'm not into painting things like mountain ranges. Yeah, see me put a few in the back of one scene, and that also had those pine trees that I really don't like to paint. And I did it just for fun. I'm going to sneeze. It's going to happen. Maybe. Maybe not. Sorry. I'm going to have to blow my nose. Now, pardon me. I don't edit these. We all just do. Okay. Yeah, I paint the local landmarks. It's a concession to the market I live in, and more and more, nobody cares. Sometimes I sell. I've got one going in the gallery over there. We'll see if people care. It's fine. Let's take it away. Take it away. The tonalists understood this instinctively, that the intimate is more approachable than the expansive. Okay? The mystery and suggestion speaks to something deeper in us. That's what tonalism's about. And it's not overt. It's not like you basically are going to have to just peck away at it like I did. But you got me showing the way, and at least as a modern, and I'm not the only tonalist out there. There's a few others. Yeah. 3. Woo, we're moving on. 21. We're doing okay. Technical advantages of generalized subject. Core concept. Suggestion over delineation. One of the definite hallmarks of tonal painting is to brace suggestion over delineation. I've mentioned this time and again. But it bears repeating, especially for those of you that are struggling. And come on, let's face it. We're all struggling. Landscape painting is not really that easy to do. Work out your composition so it's balanced. Makes sense. Work out those forms, pardon me, and you can do your whole painting with big forms with modulated color, and that is probably going to be sufficient. So many times painters starting out think, I gotta get all that detail in there, it'll make it better. No, it won't. It generally won't. And you know what, the people pulling that stuff off, the experienced painters that are pulling off these hyper detailed styles, like the Hudson River guys, that's a lot of work to pull that off. It makes it a lot harder. Yeah. The more generalized and vague the forms of the landscape, the more opportunity there is to inject mystery and emotion into the scene. So make a note, okay? Maybe make your next painting really loose, like a lot looser than you think it should be. And you'd be surprised, the people coming around your studio or your space there go, hey, that one's good. And you go, that Mike, he's on to something. Yeah, one of the best ways to do this is by bringing disparate shapes together so they can form masses, which can again be painted in a modulated way. So you may have 10, 15 trees there treated as one mass. Don't worry about the individual trees. I never do. I'll move trunks, I move shapes, I move everything. It's all there to serve the overall picture, which is there to serve the overall emotive thing that I'm trying to get across with that scene. Okay. About compositional strength. There's definitely a distinct technical advantage to painting more generalized landscapes. By focusing on large masses and their relationships, you will tend to create stronger and more unified compositions. This is gold. It's absolute gold. Well, it's raining. Not raining hard, but it's raining. It's kind of warm here too today. You guys are getting colder. We're getting warmer. Such is the way of living on a globe. Unless it's flat. I don't believe it is, but if you do, God bless you. Okay. Yeah, so this is everything I've just outlined. Big shapes, modulated color. This is the most excellent foundation for any landscape painter because let's say you want to get all hyper detailed. We'll start with those big masses, those big shapes that look good together, and then break them up into complementary shapes, right? Eschewing specificity. What a word. In favor of generality will lend your work broader appeal. Like I said, watch and learn. You make your next painting like I'm talking about, and watch. People come in and go, wow, you're onto something great. I'll buy that. Give me my wallet out. Sorry. Gotta blow my nose again. Okay. Working with masses. When you group forms in larger masses, you're automatically bullet. Simplifying your value structure. Creating stronger relationships between elements. Making compositional decisions clearer. Reducing visual clutter. That's all the bullets there. No, wait. You can then modulate within those masses to suggest detail without actually rendering it. Yeah, no, I spent a while on this, but this is really the key. This is really good stuff. Yeah, so make a note. Pause the video. Maybe try and make a little painting like that now. Say, how can I make this reference I'm thinking will make a nice painting? Just a bunch of big shapes with nicely modulated color. Don't paint it too big either, I'm telling you. Keep it modest for now. You can always scale up. Yeah. What are the practical advantages of what I'm saying? Okay, we're doing all right. You don't need to travel to exotic locales. You could just, paint the parking lot. Painting a parking lot. The beauty of working with generalized subjects is that your subject matter is literally everywhere. All you need to find is a composition that appeals to you. Yeah. The field behind your house, that cluster of trees you pass every day, these are your subjects. Broader appeal. Your work's going to appeal to more people because, I run into this all the time. I paint a beach like the one I just showed you behind me. Oh, is that Hoopa Boopa Beach? No, I say, no, it's not. Oh, too bad. If it was Hoopa Boopa Beach, I would buy that one. Is it Humunga Bunga Beach? No. Oh, too bad. That's the other beach. You get what I'm saying. Break out of that trap, And it is a trap, let me tell you, because I'm in like a tourist area. That's all. What is it? I don't know. Generally, that's what I'll say now. I don't know. Could be. Maybe. Oh, you think it is? Oh, it might be. Oh, well, then I'll buy it. Yes, the freedom. The freedom. We need to be free. I want to break free. When you're not bound to depicting specific details, you have more freedom. Like if you're going to paint an actual place, it's got real details, it's got real shapes and forms. You got to slow down and make sure you're getting it right. When you start generalizing, that's not a problem anymore. You can just focus on the masses, the colors, and the values, and the composition. That's everything that makes a painting great, if you ask me. Whoa! You got more bullet points. You can adjust compositions on the fly. Emphasize what matters emotionally. Simplify or complicate as needed. Focus on the atmosphere or mood rather than accuracy. Okay, I'll stop doing that. Mike, that's annoying. Okay, sorry. Takeaway. Generalized subjects aren't a limitation, they're a liberation. They provide technical advantages that strengthen your compositions while simultaneously deepening the emotional impact of your work. Whoa, that's great. We're closing. That's good. Oh, we're doing all right. We're doing good. I'm doing pretty good. It'll still be 40 minutes. You know me. Come on. But we're closing in. I didn't think I'd do this well. It's because of that thing I'm doing. I think that's just moving me through. Recap. The power of the intimate versus the general. Well, no, the intimate and the general, not versus. The power of the intimate versus the specific. How about that? Today we've covered that historical shift from the Hudson River School, and you look at the guys before, everyone was all like, this is a real place, I'm painting this, here's some people, here's a landscape. You know, it wasn't until the 1800s we started getting landscapes that didn't have tons of people in them. I don't like painting people in any of my scenes, and I do like people. And I do paint people sometimes, but yeah. Oh, I did do one recently. It didn't make it on the channel, but it sold, so that's all good. Yeah. We covered that shift from the Hudson River School to the Tonalist. By the way, I want to pass this on. If you don't have that book, A History of American Tonalism, save up your shekels, ask for it for Christmas, okay? Because you'll love it. If you love tonalism, you'll love that book. Okay, finding the extraordinary in the ordinary through mystery and suggestion. That's as we covered that, and we covered the technical advantages of working with generalized subjects. It's not only easier, it makes your work stronger, so it gives it more appeal. The tonalist understanding. Tonalist understood something profound. Intimacy can be more powerful than spectacle. By all the way, this is all from my upcoming book. It's a great chapter, and one of the reasons. So I was just finished the print formatting for volume 3. I gotta do my own proofreading and all my own stuff now because I'm a one-man show. And some of the changes on the channel, that's because I'm putting more emphasis into that book. I'm going to get that book out next year. It's coming. It's a lot of work, but all of this information is in there in a bit more condensed format. You could read it in about 10 minutes instead of my 40-minute burble. But you get to hang out in the studio. We get to converse, and that's nice too. That's all good. It's complimentary. That's how I see it. Yeah. Okay. Making it work for you. Mm-hmm. You don't need dramatic locations. You don't need dramatic references. You can look at the work of a George Inness and you can see this. And you might go, well, that's brilliant, though. He does brilliant stuff. Or, I'm not brilliant. He had to work up to it. And he's done plenty of duds, okay? And that's a topic for another video. Anyway, so I was working on formatting. There's quite a few of these talks that come from Volume 3 because I'm working on formatting. I go, gosh, that's good stuff. I wanna make that my next Easel Talk. I want to tell the people about this message. That's what I do. That's what I do, okay? And I'll keep doing it. Maybe we'll be down to 2 people coming around. Whatever. I'm working on my legacy. Okay? I'm working on, and that's paintings, teaching, books, music. I don't bother you with the music much. But who knows? I might just start putting one of my songs at the end of each video. What do you think of that? Well, I think it makes the video look like it's going to be long. I don't like a long video. I'm bored. You're boring, Mike. You just keep talking. Okay. Yeah, we didn't need to repeat all that. You got all that. The invitation, though. When we embrace generalized subjects in our work, we're doing more than simplifying our compositions. We're tapping into the same transcendental vein, and that's the name of the new book called The Transcendental Landscape, a 4-volume series on painting in the tonalist way. Okay? When I say volumes, they're more like volumes. Okay? Yeah. We're trapping into the transcendental vein of human emotion and memory that makes landscape painting such an enduring and powerful art form. Okay? We're saying to our viewers, this could be your memory, this could be your moment of peace, this could be your felt expression of the landscape, right? We're connecting. Strong final thought. This is my strong final thought. The smallest clump of trees or weeds or whatever can be made into the subject of a painting with the right sort of outlook and attitude. I discovered this long ago. 13 years, and not like I'm constantly making clumps of weeds the subject of my painting, but I did discover this possible and you may do too. The simple truth, this opened up a whole world of possibility for me, because I could see that, well, I can move this here, move that there, and I'm doing that more and more all the time. I just had, you'll see it on the channel, it's a little coastal scene, but because of these Photoshop troubles, I'm done with you, Photoshop. Forget about you, you corporate pricks, okay? Forget you. I'm not paying you no more. And I'm struggling because of it, let me tell you. So I'm working with that, what's it called, Neo Luminar. It's okay, it's fine. You can swap scenes in it, the skies. It does a job, but I put it on this little old lappy I've got here in the studio, and I was struggling, and finally I said, whatever. I didn't like the sky that I popped in. But you know what? I made a really nice, where's that painting? It's down there. Oh, you can't see it. No, I'm not going to grab it. I made a wonderful sky from the reference that was mediocre, because, you know, I've done a lot. That's why. Okay, here we go. But there's a lesson there, you know. You are the creator. You are the artist. You're not the copyist from the photo to the surface of a painting. Yes, like training wheels, I mentioned this in another talk recently, you may have to do some of that. You may have to do some copying over. And if you're going to do that, I recommend you incorporate doing master studies. Your favorite paintings from the masters, you can do studies after some of my things, you know. That's fine. It's all up there, you know. If you're getting real successful, though, you know, you can make copies after my paintings. Put some attribution on there, right? You know, paint it after old M. Francis. That would be good. Either way, it doesn't matter, because we have tons of images around, tons of paintings around, and the world doesn't need more. But what the world does need is, it needs you contributing and creating and building and making, because that will bring value to your existence. And if you pursue mastery, you'll start to create things that resonate with people, that they have an emotional response to, and that's intrinsically valuable. I think it is. I think it is. Okay, yeah, the ordinary is only ordinary until you see it through the tonalist lens. Get your lens out. Don't underestimate the power of the intimate. Your local landscape holds infinite painterly possibilities. Oh my God, I'm doing so good. I'm under 40 right now. I hope this talk has helped you see the potential in painting generalized subjects instead of something real specific. Lots of times we think it's got to be this thing that already looks amazing. Not really, not necessarily. You can bring the amazing to the proceedings through, like I've done it time and again. It's just a simple composition. It's nothing fancy, but I bring in glowing color, I bring in deep shadows, I bring in strong contrasts and highlights in the skies. Next thing you know, it's poetry. Okay, the Ko-Fi, I'm waiting. I'm doing it now. I'm waiting for that cup of coffee. I've got this one. It's getting low. Do what you can for me. I appreciate you. If you got this far, 38 minutes in, smash the like. Because I tell you know, YouTube's squeezing down. I don't mind. I don't care. I keep doing what I'm doing. You may be faced with the same sort of thing. It's a time for humans to support other humans and our human endeavor, our human teaching. You go, what's you talking about the humans? Who else is there? You know who else there is. And they're going to be a major factor coming along. So you like this human, you like his human teaching, do what you can to support me. Hit the like, leave me a comment. Nice one, Mike. Thank you. That'd be good. Anyway, do what you can. I appreciate you coming around. I'll be here next week, God willing, for Easel Talk 20. This was Easel Talk 19. So, till I do come back, do me a favor, do me a solid, would you? Take good care of yourself and your family. Happy, well, this is Thanksgiving right now in the States, today. You won't be seeing it on Thanksgiving, but Merry Christmas and all that, you know? Keep on keeping on. Keep on being a human, keep making paintings, and keep supporting human teaching.
Did you know you could buy the book? Landscapepainter.co.nz. The book cost $65. You